God cares a whole lot more about your attitude than your actions. He actually judges your actions based on your attitude. What motivates me to do something is a whole lot more important than what I actually do. Jesus confirms this in the Bible when he says things like, if you have hatred for someone in your heart, that in his eyes, that's the same as committing murder. Or if you look at someone that you're not married to with lust in your heart, then in his eyes, that's the same as committing adultery. God, or Jesus tells us that what's in your heart is what matters the most to him. The Bible tells us that God loves a cheerful giver. When we give, it's supposed to be a cheerful act. It's supposed to bring us extreme and immense joy. It's not supposed to be this thing that we just check off our to-do list or say, yeah, I fulfilled my obligation. The original Greek word for cheerful is hilaros. It's where we get the English word hilarious. Think about how you act when you see something that you think is hilarious. Think about what your body language looks like, right? You're laughing uncontrollably, one of those deep belly laughs. Your head and shoulders are tilted back. You got a big smile on your face. To me, that's just the perfect image of joy and cheerfulness and what it's supposed to look like. When's the last time you saw people looking that way during the giving time in your church? Usually it's like what it actually looks like is a waiting room in a dentist office and everybody's about to get a root canal or something. But we can develop that extreme joy and cheerfulness. We can grow that through our connection with Jesus. And how do we do that? Well, we can look at, for an example in the Bible with the church of Macedonia. In 2 Corinthians, Paul talks about it in chapter 8. Right at the beginning, he says, "Now I want you to know, dear brothers and sisters, that what God in his kindness has done through the churches in Macedonia." He says, "They are being tested by many troubles and they are very poor, but they are also filled with abundant joy, which is overflowed in rich generosity." He says, "For I can testify that they gave not only what they could afford, but far more. And they did it all of their own free will. They begged us again and again for the privilege of sharing in the gift for the believers in Jerusalem. They even did more than we had hoped, for their first action was to give themselves over to the Lord and to us, just as the Lord wanted them to." So he talks about the people in Macedonia, how they were very poor. They're living in poverty. They're facing troubles of different kinds. They're having a really rough time in life, but somehow they're able to have abundant joy and give with extreme generosity. How are they able to do that? Well, the answer is right there in verse 5, where it says their first action was to give themselves over to the Lord. When we give ourselves over completely to Jesus, when we let him take control of every part of our life, when we let him guide our steps and direct us where to go when it comes to giving and to serving and to tell us what he wants us to give and how much he wants us to give, when we have that connection with him and we obey what he tells us to do, then we're able to put ourselves in a position to have the right attitude when it comes to giving. We're able to feel that extreme cheerfulness, that hilarious joy that he wants us to feel when we're able to give. So check your motives, examine yourself. What is your attitude when it comes to giving? Are you able to do it with a sense of extreme joy? Or does it feel like something you have to do begrudgingly? The more you connect yourself to Jesus, the more you're going to be able to have the right attitude and the right heart about it.